Well, I will go ahead and I'm hitting record. So if you jump on or catch it late, you can always go back and watch the replay. And then, Charmayne, I can send this to you too if you want to give it to your team too. But if you, let me try to, 1 second. Okay. And then Charmayne, you just have to unmute yourself. So I met Charmayne, I guess, and we joined probably around the same time. And so obviously Charmayne is under Katie. And so she's in my sister line, and we've run a couple of leadership groups together and met at Mini Summit. And she's my people. She's straight from a field and likes to drink Busch Lights, and she has a team of rock stars. And out of most of the teams, mostly Charmayne and Sherry, but I've really got bonded with her directors and people under her team. They're also my people. So, and it's funny, Heather Warman just sent me a voice note. So if that goes to show you how great that this company is, it's literally like those people have no direct contact to me. I don't have direct real contact to them monetarily. And we love each other and praise each other and genuinely like to help each other. So, Charmayne's a rock star. She had executive and Zaya executive when we ranked in April. And she's like really close, couple $1,000s out, right, from double Zaya exec. So, and getting the directors really is usually the hardest part. But I think that with the growth of the company and just like, really COVID too, like no one wants to go out and shop. Like everybody has personal shoppers in Zaya. So I asked Charmayne to kind of do a recruiting and like a 3x2,500. I feel like we have a lot of newer people that can benefit from this. Charmayne is a hard recruiter, just kind of like I am, and she's a different personality type. So I will let her talk. And if you guys have any questions, use the chat and I will mute myself and she can unmute.
Hi guys. Thank you, Erica. Yes, like Erica said, I loved her from the beginning. So you guys are in such good hands. We're so lucky to have an amazing leader like Erica is. She's just a true gem and she's so fun. And I told her last month she did a training for us. Well, this month I was like, I need like a halftime show from Erica, like once a week, even for my own, personal business to keep my morale and everything up. So you guys are in hands because you guys get that halftime show every week. So that's seriously so awesome. All right, guys. So I'm going to talk about, she kind of wanted me to talk a little bit about recruiting and then, how I constantly kind of always strive to hit the promos that Zaya has. So first off, recruiting, and you guys, none of this is anything new. I'm sure that you've never heard. And I'm sorry if you guys can't hear me. I am at work, so I'm using this as my lunchtime. So hopefully no one comes walking over here, but I've kind of tucked myself in the corner. But hopefully if you guys can't hear me, just message me and I will try to move around if my connection's bad. But for recruiting, so I'm going to talk about the stuff that you guys have all heard, I'm sure. And if you've heard me talk on the team pages, you may this will be a repeat, but sometimes it's good to hear. The more you hear it, the more you do it. So honestly, the first thing about recruiting is being consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. With recruiting is you can't just recruit 1 week out of the month. You have got to be always having those conversations consistently every single week. I try to always do recruiting about 2 to 3 times per week. So honestly, I'm like reaching out and doing recruits about 15 times per month. So I'm not one where it's like, okay, I've got my 3, let's pump the brakes, let's focus on something else. I'm always focusing on recruiting because that is what's going to build your team. Yes, I've been a Zaya rep since December of 2018, so the same time when Erica joined. And I don't have a ton of downline. I mean, we just reached the 200 mark on Monday, so I have 200 ladies on my downline. Some people have a ton more, but recruiting should always be consistent. So, taking those 2 to 3 times a week to really focus on recruiting, or you can do 2 to 3 reach outs per day. What I like to do is whenever I'm in the groove, I'll send out like 10 reach outs. right then and there. So to me, that makes it a little bit more easier instead of like, okay, I got to do 2 to 3 every day. I do about 10 like when I sit down and do it, and I try to do 20 reach outs per week. So you're always having those conversations. Sometimes it always doesn't happen, guys, but that's definitely what I strive for. The biggest thing is to, you guys, build relationships. So I try not to do, the cold market, like, hey girl. I mean, of course we have that sometimes, but I love to build relationships with people. So anytime on Facebook, I am like commenting on stuff, anytime there's a happy birthday or anniversary or anything like that, commenting on those are building relationships. And then whenever you go to message them, it's not as much as a cold message. So, and whenever you do message them, make sure that you're always having that relationship and you're building the relationship before you, jump in and with your whole Zaya spiel. So I really like to kind of take it back a little bit, and that takes time. And all of those are reach outs too. That's considered a reach out. If I'm reaching out and building a relationship, that is considered a reach out to me, because, you never know what that's going to evolve into. And I always tell my girls, we do the reach out and we want that immediate, like satisfaction of like, yes, I want more. Yes, show me more. But in reality, that doesn't happen very often. We get ghosted or it takes months. But like Katie Harlan always says, you're planting those seeds. And sometimes, just like with farming, you plant them in April, you harvest them in October. So there's a good time frame in there, but you're always planting those seeds. And then whenever you harvest them, you're going to reap the benefits of that. So never get discouraged whenever you are doing your reach outs and stuff and people, completely ghost you or whatever. I'm really big into always like, every no brings you next closer to your yes. And sometimes, whenever you stay consistent and you're showing up in your VIP group and you're showing up on your Facebook or Instagram stories or pages with your outfits of the day, those are all, beneficial. Those are going to move your business forward. You may not get a message for a month, someone commenting on you think that no one's watching, but they are watching. I don't know how many times I've had girls come out of the blue in the woodwork and they were like, all right, I've been watching your stories, like, what is this, tell me more. Like, those are so fun because you don't even have to work for them, because you're already putting in the work every single day for showing up and being consistent to yourself. So I think that's a big one too. Doing those being consistent, with your own business, doing those reach outs, and building your relationships with that. I will say too, with recruiting, anytime, I love follow-ups. Sometimes if I followed up with a person 3 times and they ghosted me, then I'll let it be. But even if they've ghosted me like 1 or 2 times, I will follow up. So definitely anytime that there is a starter kit, a new starter kit. Now, I don't do this with everybody, but people that I have kind of built a relationship with, or they have showed a little bit of interest, I share the new starter kit. So what I'll do is I'll just, send them the picture and be like, hey lady, here's this new kit. Is timing a little better or something like that? Discover Zaya. We had a Discover Zaya last week, and that's like a huge, amazing third-party tool. It's, the work, they're doing the work for us, when Katie and Monica hosted that call. So anytime there's a Discover Zaya, follow up with them again and be like, all right, we have a Discover Zaya, this Discover Zaya call on Thursday. Do you want to be added to the group? You literally just sit back, read success stories, and then they go live during the group page and ask frequently asked questions. That's kind of my scripting that I use for Discover Zaya. So it's not like, ooh, no, I don't want to do it. They don't have to do anything. They're just in the group and they're just observing. So make it really like laid back with that. Sometimes, if we say, okay, we're going to go on a Zoom call and blah, 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 like that's scary for people. So I like to keep it really casual, let it, they don't have to do anything. They're just going to sit back and read success stories. And then also to the new rep training call. So like last night, they had a new rep training call. So that's, again, another follow-up or reach out. Be like, all right, Susie, our team is hosting a new rep training call. We can get you started with Zaya, and then you can listen to this call so you can, jump in with both feet in and learn from the beginning. So those to me are like, very easy reach outs to do and super huge follow-ups. And you guys, we have that every single month. There's always a Discover Zaya call, and there's always going to be a new rep training call. And it's always, the last couple weeks of the month. So, the first 2 weeks when you're reaching out to doing stuff and people are still like going back and forth, that's where you can kind of seal the deal with the Discover Zaya and the new rep training. Now, whenever I invite people to Discover Zaya, I give them a couple days and then I reach out. So this was on Thursday, I think. So on Saturday, I reached out to everybody that invited and was like, hey, did you listen to the call? What questions do I have? What questions do you have? And I always do a voice memo so they can hear the excitement in my voice too. And then, if they have questions, they give it to me. Or if they say, yes, I did, but it's not for me, then let it be, and then follow up with those people in a couple months. So that is kind of like my little gist about recruiting. You guys, I don't have any secret sauce or anything like that. I just stay consistent. I do those reach outs, and I think building relationships is the biggest thing. And then also too, I've always said to be yourself. So people, we are all Zaya reps. We're all selling the same thing, but you need to sell yourself in a way so people can be relatable to you. And if they can be relatable to you, then they're going to want to join your team. So I think that's the biggest thing too. If you guys follow me on Instagram, my life is a freaking mess. My freaking car's broke down in the parking lot right now, guys. My gear shifter's in park, but my dash says it's still in drive. So that's kind of why I'm out here. Like, it's a mess, but it's okay. We'll figure it out, whatever. But I just think, be true to yourself. Don't show up when everything's perfect. Don't show up when your hair is perfect or your house is, perfect, because you're going to miss out on so many opportunities. And I think too, people are like, oh, this girl doesn't have her shit together. So I can relate to that. I never have my shit together. So I think that's a big thing too. Always be relatable, be true to yourself. And when you're talking in your Zaya, in your stories or your Facebook stories, I'm big on stories. I love that. I think it's so fun. I love watching people's stories. Don't talk just all Zaya, because that's boring. I like to get on people's stories and see what they did during the day. I love following my bloggers and what they did or whatnot. But I always try to put a little bit of Zaya in there almost every single day. But I don't make it the only thing that I talk about. So if I only do stories, once a week, I'm not going to talk just about Zayas, because I want them to know I'm a real person. I'm a mess. I'm a mom. I work, all of those things. So be true to yourself. And I think that is how people can be relatable to you. So be consistent in your Zaya work, but be consistent in who you are too. And who God created you to be, and how you can be relatable to everybody. So that is on recruiting. All right, I'm going to kind of twist things a little bit here and just talk about the earning the Zaya promotions. And I'm not saying this to brag by any means, but I have hit every single Zaya promotion that they have put out there, because to me, it is just non-negotiable. And whenever they put out those promos, I guess I did not hit the rank one last month because I just couldn't. But anytime there's a 3 by like 2,500 by 4 or whatnot, you bet your butt I'm going after that. And to me, it's just non-negotiable. Like, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to work my booty off. And guys, I promise you, if you hit those month after month after month, you will become a Zaya executive like Erica just hit today. You will move your business forward. Just making that, like, I'm going to do it. Non-negotiable, 3 people, $2,500 in sales. So how you do that, again, honestly, it comes from what I kind of just talked about, being consistent, doing those reach outs, doing those follow-ups, building that atmosphere, I think too, is really important in your VIP group. Those guys are like my family. I always say, hey, family or whatnot, like, I turn to those girls in my VIP group because a lot of them are family, they're friends. They trust me to be their Zaya rep. They trust me with, their purchases and everything like that. So I love building a fun atmosphere in there. And I mean, I do have a really good VIP group. So a lot of my sales come from my VIP group. Yes, of course, I'm hosting at least 4 parties a month, but I love having that VIP group to kind of fall back on to kind of get me over that 2,500 in sales if I need to. But yeah, always do that 4 parties. I mean, you guys know that. That's how it's going to help build your business forward too. If you can, double book yourself. But I try to only do 4 parties because I like to focus more on my team. And I'm sure Erica is at this point too. Whenever you kind of hit, I feel like, you know, director, senior director and above, it's not about us anymore. It's about our team and it's about you guys. So I want to be there. Like, I don't want to overwhelm myself with parties and that may, you know, put me a little bit behind with, you know, helping my team. So I always want to be there for them. So that's why I just stick with 4 parties once a week. But if I, you know, like this is a big push month, I've done a little bit more. Offer, especially whenever you guys do, you know, your parties. Anybody, no matter what, even if it's just a $200 party, before we cash it in, I talk to them about the rep opportunity. I get on the little voice memo and I'm like, all right, hey Susie, you got a great party. Your friends and family are going to want more of this. Have you thought about signing up? We put the credits towards your starter kit. They're going to want more. So you should earn the commissions, not me, on, you know, their future purchases. I keep it really kind of like lighthearted and like kind of fun. Be like, you know, I want you to earn that commission, not me, because they're going to want more. So no matter what, with all of my parties, I ask them about that. And if it's $1,000 party, you bet. Like, to me, I'm like, it's a no-brainer. Your starter kit's $145. You get 5 items, $100 gift card plus 4 half-off items. Like, you're freaking crazy if you don't sign up. And that's kind of that's honestly what I say. And that's how I say it, to make it be like, oh, okay, you know, it is like a no-brainer. So I do have a lot of people that sign up just for the discount, because I tell them, you know, they're like, well, I'm not interested in selling. And I'm like, who cares? You get a 25% discount on everything. So I think too, you know, some people are like, I don't want all these discount reps. To me, I want a lot of people who's doing a little bit of work, because that for me has really progressed me. You know, Katie always says that too. The huge runners are going to come find you. But I like my team, there's a lot of us that do a little bit of work, and we're all kind of like, you know, I don't have a ton of huge rock stars, store to say, but we all are like amazing at it. And, you know, I have 8 directors. So I feel like it's really spaced across where everybody's kind of the same level and we're all moving forward together. So don't worry about those discount reps, because honestly, you never, ever know what those discount reps can turn into. They may be your frontliners and they may be your huge rock stars, but never be like, I don't want all these discount reps, because to me, more the merrier. Who cares? If they want on my team, absolutely. So I really chalk up our discount, especially when I, you know, do my reach outs too. You know, anybody that I see, like Beachbody coaches, whoever's, you know, huge people who exercise, stay-at-home moms right now. I feel like, I mean, everything with the school, I feel like there's a lot of people that's going to start homeschooling and have to quit their jobs for, you know, what's going on right now with the world. So I love reaching out to those people anytime I see on Facebook and be like, all right, hey girl, you live in activewear. Have you ever thought about joining just for the discount? Like, you get a 25% discount on everything. And then we could host our own parties, and I kind of talk about that. So I usually honestly do start a lot of my conversations with the discount opportunity, because that, I mean, it's just amazing. But yeah, as reps, we honestly don't use it as much because we get that, you know, back in commissions and we get the party credits. But obviously that's conversations down the road. But I definitely, you know, whenever they have these promotions, it's non-negotiable. I write it down on my goals. I write it out at least every week that I hit the 3x4, you know, promo or whatever. I hit the Zaya promotion. And I just go after that. And you guys, it all, just like weight loss, you know, if you eat better, you exercise better, your numbers are going to be better. Your blood pressure is going to be better. Your cholesterol is going to be better. That's the same thing with this, you know, doing Zaya. If you do your reach outs, you stay consistent, you show up in your VIP group, you wear the clothes, it's all going to come together and it's all going to benefit from that. So it doesn't just take one thing. It takes all of those things coming together and adding up, and just, you know, again, staying true to yourself. But the main thing is, you know, go live in your VIP group. You know, take that step, get out of your comfort zone. Being bold is how you're going to move your business forward. So I think that's all I got. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
You can unmute yourself too if you want to.
Yeah, let me know for anything.
Yeah.
Or to this, you can message me anytime you want.
Oh, I do. Give me a type to type it. Yeah. Rachel's one of those people who have a job. I think she's working at home. She's like, but while she's typing her question, I will say, like, just like Charmayne said, it's just literally a process. Like she said, we don't put recruiting down. And sometimes I don't even like to use that word because I'm really just building relationships, whether it's a sale or a party or supporting them too, you know, in their little venture or wherever they're at, because people's lives change. They get tired of Beachbody or they get tired of, you know, selling consumables. So, and they see you succeed. And I love watching Charmayne's stories too. So, and I'm not buying from her. So, I think that's just my personality type is I like to watch people's stories. I don't like to make them, but, oh, here we go. Can you read that?
Yeah. And then they never do. I guess I call them, but I feel like I'm more a call and reach out and pushes them away. Yeah, Rachel, with that, I honestly don't really technically give up on someone until, like I said, they've kind of ghosted me 3 or 4 times, or, you know, it's been like a month from when I reached out to them. But honestly, if they show any interest, I would give it a couple weeks, and then I would maybe send them a picture of our starter kit and just be like, hey, I know you showed interest. Here's the starter kit. Let me know what questions you have. I'm free to chat on the phone. I know you kind of mentioned that too. So you never know. Life gets a little crazy for some people. So I would give it a couple weeks and then send them the new starter kit. And that's how I would do it. And then I would say, you know, let's chat if you want to, or if timing's not right now, I totally get it. And then just kind of let it be at that. But I think, you know, a new starter kit, it's easy to kind of follow up with that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
So.
I also think too, like if for my people who keep saying, oh, I'm going to join, I don't really give up. I still talk to them, and it's obviously never about Zaya, you know, because they know it's there, and you know it's there, and you have to build a relationship because they're getting ready to join your team, you know. And if they keep saying, oh, I'm going to join, well, guess what? When they do join, it's going to be like trying to get them started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it's worked for me, really.
I 100% agree. Or two, sometimes if they do, you know, building that relationship, if someone does post a story, I always kind of comment on that because it goes straight to their messages. So then they can be like, oh, because I think, you know, I tell myself to make myself feel better. Like when someone goes to me, they're like, well, maybe their kid, you know, crapped their pants and they had to go fix that, and then they got sight. So you just never know what's going to happen or why they ghosted you. It might not be because, you know, they're truly not interested. Something could have happened too. So I have stories because it goes straight to their messengers.
Or their car died.
Yeah. I got to deal with that after this. Jeez.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point what you brought up about the incentives. Like, I think I'm just competitive, so that's what helps me. But literally going after every incentive for the last year and a half is like literally like propelled my business, you know, because it's always 3 times 2,500, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And so, if you do, I mean,
how many first levels do you have? Like like how many people have you recruited?
The last time I checked, it was, I think 60, like 65. So I need to go back and look, but I think it's around 65.
Okay. So that's a good, like you said, an indication of, you know, someone who's just starting wants to know, you know, after a year and a half, like what's the average, you know?
So that might be a little, I mean, because last year, 3 people onto our team every single month. So 2 times 12, I mean, that's 36. So maybe around like 50 to 60. I'll go back and look and I'll let you know.
People kind of drop off sometimes here and there too. That's happens for me. But okay, so and then there's a couple people on this call and probably gonna watch the replay who have teams. And you know, when you said something about like, you know, I love that you said you now do 4 because you want to pour into your team, because that's what I've been doing. But do you have monthly calls? Like, do you have your own Discover Zayas?
We don't. We have not had our own Discover Zaya yet. That's something I do. But I love how Katie and Monica has like their own at the end of the month. So I was thinking about doing one like middle of the month, and then where you kind of get the people at the beginning of the month who you reached out to, and then, the people at the end of the month. But we we only do a team call once a month, with
all the other calls.
and a lot of my girls, we still, work and stuff during the day. I would love to, have day calls like you. I think that would be awesome. And hopefully there. But
yeah, right.
we just do one time a month. And like right now, after a huge goal. So I added on another team call. But normally it's just like the first week of the month. We just kind of stagger them with Katie and Monica's calls.
Yeah. And I know you're really talking to directors a lot anyways, right? So it's like, yeah.
I have a messenger chat with my first levels, and then I have a messenger chat with just my directors, my first level directors. So I like that.
Okay. All right. Well, does anyone else have a question? Thank you so much for doing this. If you don't follow Charmayne, do so and follow her people because they are rock stars.
And for you guys, congratulations on a huge milestone. That's so exciting.
Thanks. So glad to be here. Glad to be here with you at the top, girl.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll be cheering for you. You can do it. You got a new release tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes. Right? Praying for some good ones, man. And I'm praying for some jogger restocks. I think that'll help tremendously.
You love